out there and tried to mix with the animals, and it just left you full of humiliated confusion. But the feeling of loneliness never leaves you. It haunts you everywhere you go. And then you meet me, and your whole world changes. Because everything I say is everything you've ever wanted to hear. So you drop your defenses, and you drop all your fears. And you're so busy feeling good that you never question why things are going so well. You want to know why?
Well, tell me first of all your passion about Lincoln.
Well, there's a lot of reasons to like Abraham Lincoln, but perhaps my favorite one, well, I really admire his use of the English language. I've always been a fan of English. It's the only one I've got, language-wise. I'm not multilingual. And some of the sentence structure is so extraordinary. Like, you can bridge those sentences across a ravine and drive a truck across them. But perhaps the best part of Lincoln for me is the idea that what he left us as far as his writing and all of that, I don't know what side he's pulling for, in that he doesn't seem to be Democratic or Republican or Whig. He just seems to be for all of us. And in 2012, as we're talking right now, his words speak with as much relevance now as they did when he penned them. I mean, when you read the speeches, and the one I like a lot is the one from 1838, the speech to the Young Men's Lyceum that he spoke. He performed or recited here in Springfield on January 27th as a 28-year-old, about to be 29. What an extraordinary speaker this guy was, or at least a writer. And you read that stuff, you think to yourself, people in 2012 should read this. This is where we're at, and this is where we need to go. And to think of such an extraordinary time in American history, what a wild tempest of an American chapter Lincoln was handed as a president. I mean, he had a few months of like, I'm the president, pretty cool. And then by April of the next year, kaboom, America fairly explodes in his face. And the country rips itself in half. And his first term is just the most unenviable, disastrous occurrence, the Civil War. And it was his night and day. And you wonder what he could have gotten done for America had that not happened. Like what his presidency wouldn't have been if he didn't have to be a wartime president. Because if you read the speeches before he became president, what his idea of America was, he's really into the Constitution, and he said that we Americans should have this, common intelligence, sound morality, but in particular, a great reverence for the Constitution and for law. He being a lawyer, he knew what he was talking about, but he would have made a really beautiful America for the people of his time, and he did his damnedest to keep America together. And then he died for it. And so it's very poetic, almost Shakespearean. I mean, it'd be a Shakespearean tragedy of a man who was president and who gave a lot and ultimately sacrificed everything for what was to be. And with all of that, it lends itself to myth more than it does to reality. But thankfully, it's a part of history where photographs were taken. So you can see this man. It's not like Washington, where it's a painting. I guess he looked like that, so you say, so says the painter. But thanks to history, it's a war and a time that is documented, and we can look at Lincoln, and it really brings the whole thing into, it makes it more vivid. And so all of those things make Lincoln very important to me. And I'm 51, as I get older and I look at my country differently, as a certainly not the most mature man, but definitely a grown man, arcing past middle age rapidly, Lincoln speaks louder and louder to me, or resonates with me more and more. Because like I said before, what he was saying back then is perfectly suitable to have reverence for right now. And and not every single president in their letters and speeches you can't say that of all of them.
So you got to visit some places in this library and nobody else could.
Yeah.
Tell me what's the best thing you saw so far today?
Perhaps the top hat. Lincoln's one of Lincoln's top hats. But the fact that there's two finger abrasions and a bit of thumb print through of good morning, good afternoon, good day, and that's evident. And that would be his right hand, two fingers and the thumb. And to figure that out, when our guide said, "What do you think that is?" I said, "I bet it's this." He said, "You're right about it." And I must say that was, if I can use the word, that was real cool. and seeing the Gettysburg Address in his own hand, that's about as big a damn thrill as you can get. And if you're a fan of this stuff, that's one of those, whoa, am I a lucky guy moments. So those were some great parts of today.
So can we expect you back in Springfield soon?
Not soon. In that my schedule is a lot of demands have been made upon me. But will I be back here unless something unfortunate happens? Absolutely.
Excellent.
I know I said I Hi, I'm Cameron Counts with the Access 4 Producers Group. I'm sitting here in the James S. Murray Gallery here at Lincoln Land College, sitting with Matthew Schultz. Matthew, say hi.
Hey Cameron, how you doing?
Good, good. Talking to Matthew a little bit today about what all he does here at Lincoln Land College and what all he has done and what he plans to do, which is kind of interesting as well. So let's just go ahead and get off into it. You are a teacher here at Lincoln Land, correct?
Yeah, I teach computer graphics and desktop publishing actually here at Lincoln Land Community College.
Very cool, very cool. And you've got a history as an artist and a musician and everything. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your former bands and what all you've been doing with the musician part.
Right, there's a long story. Yeah, I think maybe 20 years ago I started doing experimental sound design. I built my own instruments called the anti-tank guitar, and I played in it was a very experimental sound band, basically called Lab Report. And then, let's see, in the early 90s, I was in a industrial rock band called Pigface. Which
Who wasn't in an industrial rock band?
Been in the 90s, right? Exactly. It's totally the truth. It's totally the truth. So I had that, and then that was a few years, but I still have always kind of continued with the Lab Report up until maybe the late 90s, and then I kind of just started using my own name. So
very cool. And how is it, being a teacher and a musician as well? Does anybody ever come in knowing your previous work or anything?
I hope not. No, the kids are great, and I really like. It's great to be able to teach. I love it, and I think, I'll actually point them in that direction if they're interested, or who are you, or kind of what have you done, kind of, you know what I mean? They have the prove yourself kind of attitude. But it's great because I think one of the reasons that I became an instructor was because when I'm working on these projects, the great thing is that I would always think, gosh, I wish, that's a great shortcut, or this is a great way to do that, and I wish I could share that. And so, becoming a college professor, really, because, I went back to school recently just so I could start to teach college,
I'm running across that all the time with my writing. It's like, I wish I would have had someone tell me that 20 years ago type of thing. So.
Exactly. Give me that shortcut and save me the time, Exactly.
Alrighty. What kind of teacher are you? Are you like the pretty much quintessential cool teacher, or are you the hard-ass teacher? Or?
No, I like to think I'm pretty cool and fairly easygoing. I really do like to help them out and make sure that they're learning. But I'm also the same type of professor that will get up on the table and during the middle of some tirade or something, So, to get
your Lewis Black moment.
Yes, I do. Maybe more Jack Black, right? Than Lewis Black. Not so much screaming and yelling at them, but trying to get their attention and getting them excited. I like to get them excited about doing stuff.
Very cool. Have you had anybody who maybe after they found out that you are the musician and artist,
or the magician,
or a magician too,
yeah,
you're magician part time on your weekends or whatever, have they looked at you differently? Has been a completely different demeanor change when they find out what your past is?
Not that I've noticed so far. Not that I've noticed. So maybe I just keep my blinders on. But no, it's been pretty good, and they've all been very good. And again, like I said, some of them I'll point them in they're like, what do you do? Or they're musicians, and I can offer some advice even outside of what I'm normally teaching. And if I send them to old Lab Report, you can download everything at labreport.com. I think I have over 10 albums you can get for free there.
No, cool.
And so, I just remind them that it's like you have to understand that I wrote that 22 years ago or something.
Don't hold it against you.
Yeah, exactly. So and remember, you have to contextualize it to the horror movie soundtrack kind of soundscapes I was creating back then.
Okay. Now, do you use that kind of as a generic term, or did you actually do horror movie soundtracks?
I actually did horror movie soundtracks. By about the 10th album, I had become friends with Bernard Rose, a Hollywood director who did Candyman and Immortal Beloved. And I did 2 feature films for him. One was Ivan's Ecstasy with Danny Houston. And the other one was, it was called Snuff Movie, and I think it might have been like 2002, because there was more than one made, and they had the same title. And so, and that one was, I did the entire soundtrack, very disturbing film.
And that was probably right about the same time as, 8mm? Is that?
Yeah, it was coming. Yeah, I mean, it really was. It really was, and that, and all, you know, and that's a whole different thing too. Is that it was actually bought up by Lionsgate and then canned, which is they'll shelve it so it doesn't compete with other horror movies that this company is distributing itself.
That is a dark little secret of the Hollywood
Yeah.
thing. They completely, if they think, if they could have, you know,
Yeah.
the people behind Volcano would have bought Dante's Peak and just completely shelved it. And
Exactly.
that happens all the time, unfortunately. So, very cool. I'm definitely a big horror fan.
Oh, well, we'll have to watch it sometime. I have a copy.
That's pretty wild. I had always wondered about that. Is that not to get too much into it, but is that a pretty lucrative career choice? Or
Doing sound checks is it's a good, for a musician it is good, especially somebody who does experimental sound design like I do, you know, because I'm not playing like rock songs, so, you know, but playing live I think is also a good way to make money as a musician. But in general, I mean, I started as a musician in the late 80s, and I've seen the complete you know, devastation of the entire business as it was then. You know, the idea of putting out a record, getting signed to a label. I mean, it's everything goes now. You know, you can.
Napster and all that. So.
Oh, definitely. Now it's like, you know, you can record all on your laptop. I mean, you have great technology that you can record with. You can put it up for Bandcamp, and now you can download WAV or AIF files. So why burn a CD? You know.
I was aware of, you know, how much everything had changed as far as film and television. I mean, we're shooting this on a little $100 machine. And,
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of how much everything had changed with music, but that
Totally.
makes sense that it all kind of happened at the same time. So that's cool. And just for, you know, people like myself who don't quite know, exactly what is experimental sound design?
Well, experimental sound design is, I use that term because a lot of it doesn't fall under the normal structure of music, you know, like rhythm, melody, harmony, all
Did
this.
you coin that phrase, or is that an industry term? Or?
I think it would be, I won't even try to make claims on coining that phrase. So, but I use that phrase in the sense that it gives me the leeway because we're not using traditional structures of music. For instance, like I built my own instrument. It's called the anti-tank guitar. There's like 5 versions of this thing, and sculpted and built these, and they're like huge lap steel guitars, right? And they can go subsonic or chromatically beyond the piano, right? So I mean, they're like way lower, way higher. Okay, and that's the thing is that, you know, I might tune them to say sort of like D or whatever, you know, have this certain tuning, but you know, maybe it's played arrhythmically, you know, maybe it's more like John Cage, you know.
Can you hit the brown note?
That's the truth right there. The sharp, harsh red note. Yes. So I think that's kind of why it was dealing, and then also dealing with sound effects as part of the music. You know, it's not necessarily like, oh, that's the sound of a guitar, or that's the sound of this. It was actually using sound effects as well.
We don't know what the hell that sounds.
Exactly. That was,
So
yeah.
When's your album for Dogs to come out?
Right?
How many dogs can you-
It's playing right now.
Oh, okay. Good. I can't hear it. So, very cool. And what is? You kind of hinted at it a little bit. What is, like, define multimedia art and
Well, multimedia is just a kind of that idea that I am, you know, I'll do an album. Like for the show that we're at right now, there's a trilogy that I scored for it of 3 different albums, and each one has its own style of music. But then I'll also do video production or a movie trailer for it, or you know, I'll do the sculpture or the wax figures like that's behind me. So you know, it's the digital layout of all the artwork, or you know, different things. So it's that I really just do like almost every aspect of production for it.
And that kind of gets into the pieces you're seeing around us. You designed and you made all this.
Yeah, the exhibition for the history of the division. I've spent 2 years working on this, and an amazing amount of time. And it covers everything from like what we have over here is there's a series of different characters involved in this. It's basically a farcical hermetic order, like the Freemasons, And so I made up all the characters that go with it. And so like where we have the Baron Klaus von Heidelberg from the 1800s, and I have, his circus banner, and then behind me is the unknown soldier. So I have the wax figure of him, and I scratch built his medic motorcycle, and so everything. I laid out all the graphics for the whole thing. I just did every single part of this.
And just in case you didn't catch that, scratch built. You built everything with that motorcycle right there.
Yeah, I found a frame. Excuse me. I had found a frame and found the tires I wanted, the motor, everything, all the little medical kits that are on there, the labels, every bit of it. Had it painted, the leather seat, everything. Scratch built the whole bike, along with the wax figure of the medic, who is called the Unknown Soldier, behind me. So you can come in and actually walk around the entire diorama.
This isn't like Mystery of the Wax Museum or something. There's not a person in there, is there?
Right. Yeah. Totally.
Nothing we can talk about.
Exactly.
So, Ben, the gallery and everything has been set up here since August 20th.
Yeah.
Do you have any clue how many people have come through?
A lot actually are signing the guest book. School for Lincoln Land started its fall semester last week, and the kids are leaving notes. They seem to love it, and a lot of people are coming through. And then on September 7th, at 6 p.m., I'm doing an artist talk here. We're having a reception with food and everything. And then we'll move from the gallery to a lecture hall, and I'll actually give an artist talk on the whole history of the division and all the kind of little insights and jokes. There's actually a lot of humor in the show. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Is it open technically to the public? I mean,
Absolutely.
People have access to the building?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody can come out to Lincoln Land. It's in the Menard building, and Lincoln Land is
5250 Shepherd Road,
And-
Springfield, on Toronto, just off Toronto Road.
And just go to the Maynard building. It's upstairs in the James Murray Gallery.
And do you have any clue what the hours are here? At
It's been open like 8 in the morning to 7 at night.
Very cool.
It's open all the time.
And you do have the reception and lecture and everything.
Mm-hmm. That night there'll also be there's an audio tour for the entire exhibition, because the exhibition is set up like a museum. So, there's placards with text that tell the narratives and the storylines. And then at the reception, I'll actually have headsets, CD players, you can go around and listen to an audio tour of the entire exhibit as well, and there's also a very amusing gorilla version in there of all of. So there's there will be 12 decks that people can take around, and one of them has a hilarious gorilla version of the tour.
That was complete news to me, but that also really doesn't surprise me
Yeah.
for some reason. Just in the brief interaction we've had, that really kind of seems like something you would do.
Yeah,
So,
it's a lot of fun.
what all are you going to talk about during the lecture? Is there any little hints you can give us of the lecture? Or?
I think I started writing it, and it was like kind of, a very dry academic one dealing with Benjamin and all these different things. And I thought, I really should just go and talk and answer questions about what people are curious about. And then I think I really want to point out a lot of these kind of Marcel Duchamp references and jokes that I'm making. So I think in an aspect of keeping it lighthearted would be is to kind of express a lot more of the humor that is in the show that people aren't necessarily getting, because it is presented as a very kind of academic and strict kind of museum exhibition, and so there, again, with the text plaques that are very labored and take the time to read, and there's actually a lot of humor interwoven through the whole thing.
Do you ever have a chance to, since the gallery has been set up, have you had a chance to come in and just hang out? And
Oh yeah, I do.
Maybe in some cases the people don't realize that they're talking to the creator, and well, I think he really was kind of going for, and then completely get it wrong, and you're like, no.
Well, they do some of the responses. I do walk in and observe people, because that's actually kind of a good way to see how they respond to the work. It's just nice. But I think, again, the guest book has offered some just very hilarious comments, because people, what they'll do is they'll start correcting it, based on real history, right? But they're completely missing the point that it's a farcical history. Well,
that's strange. The World War II didn't end in 46.
Exactly, like that, yeah. And so I'll be making a joke somewhere along the way, and what I'm basically, the premise of the show is about how easy it is for us to be fooled, really, like propagandized or manipulated, by history. The victors are always the authors of history, so it's been augmented.
And that's something we haven't really spoke about yet. Go ahead and talk a little bit about the show and the whole premise behind everything. What is the division, and what's the basis of this whole everything? Why did you take all this time to hand make a motorcycle?
Yeah, the division is what they call a hermetic order. So if anybody knows about the Freemasons or any of these organizations, those are hermetic orders, right? So it's kind of
hermetically sealed.
Exactly, right. So it's an order, a fraternal order really is what it is. But the study is maybe in the esoteric. It's always kind of hidden and abstract to the general public, right? And I always thought that a lot of times Freemasons were like somehow correlated to this Illuminati, right? Which is, very much the thing nowadays is this kind of, the Illuminati are taking over. So I thought, when I read an article anywhere in the news about the Illuminati, I think how much of a construct that is, right? Like, well, you have no evidence, and so you're speculating, and all your evidence that you do have, it looks like conjecture, it's just made up. So what I decided to do was to make up a complete fraternal order from the history, again, of all the characters I have cave painting, actual sections of cave walls where cave paintings were created thousands of years ago that have been extracted from the caves and are on the wall here in the gallery. And then you can see that history. Right? And so I'm making all this up and giving you all this fact and all this evidence, and the premise is how easy it is for us to be deluded, basically, to be conned. It's all a trick. It's a circus trick.
You didn't have a test run in the Denver airport or anything, did you?
Right, exactly, right? Because of the Masonic symbolism there. I mean, there is a lot of hidden esoteric knowledge out there. It's just, I think that's why we're in an age of mass media, total information, so a lot of these hidden secrets were revealed to some degree, and then I think other people are just going nuts and creating their own mythos, like, oh, the Illuminati's taking over the world, and there's a new world order, and all these things, and whatever. And my issue with the whole premise of the show is you really have to be careful what you choose to believe in.
Now, does it actually blatantly say anywhere in this room that it is all?
It does on one plaque, hidden in the corner.
It's kind of like the last one. It says, "Ha ha, gotcha."
Not even. It's in the middle, and you would probably not see it. And usually when I show it too, I don't put that plaque in. So it's presented completely as a real exhibition. And because I'm teaching here at LLCC, I thought it might be nice to actually put like the plaque in, kind of expressing to the students that it was created by, one of their professors.
Was there anything that fact, that you are, faculty at this school, was there anything that kind of made you censor yourself? Was there anything you wanted to do but you maybe didn't think LLCC could handle it, or maybe your bosses could handle it?
No, our dean is very supportive of non-censorship. I mean, he is completely against censorship. He supports nobody. You don't self-censor, and they don't censor. So I'm proud of them for that. The show is only half of the size of the actual exhibition. I mean, it's just the actual space. The gallery space could not house the full exhibition. So the only censorship I was doing was just based on space.
And I would imagine that would have to be, pretty hard. I mean, was there any pieces you really, really wanted to show that were just too damn big?
Yeah, the sweat lodge. I built a sweat lodge which is 14 feet in diameter, and I sewed. It's all out of gray felt. It's very Joseph Beuys, and I sewed that, and then it has. I have two of the instruments that are here, and then basically I just used the photo of it and put it on the wall because it certainly would have filled this whole room.
Yeah, it's like we got a gallery showing. It's got one piece. It's just the sweat lodge.
Exactly, and it's still actually it's still out on our land and as the sweat lodge. So I left.
In the front yard.
Yeah,
We still use it.
well, back in the woods, yeah, it's being used.
Very cool. And what kind of, you keep on referencing the guest book and everything, what kind of comments, you said people try to correct you and everything. Have you ever had anybody just flat out ask the obvious question, what the hell were you thinking? Or
Yeah, that's on there. There's some foul ones about it being a certain type of tease. And there's other ones where they are making correction about like the timeline of humanity. Because again, like I said, with the cave paintings, I've made up the whole mythos, right? And so I made up an age of humanity. And so, of course, I think students and faculty maybe came in and said, well, humans haven't been on the planet that long. Because I dated it so far. Well, and that's my thing, too. It's like, how do we know these things? The base premise of the show is to get you to question everything,
Does it get anything into, religion very much at all? Or is it mostly just political and like one world ordery?
No, it has the mythos has a religion and spirituality to it, which I actually believe. Like I penned my own myth, the kind of creation myth, and I pinned one that I felt I could believe in the most, right? And so I used that for the cave walls. But like the Baron Klaus von Heidelberg over here, he was a circus performer from the 1800s, and then he has this little circus case here, which is the Horus Christo case, and that is a little mummified Jesus in there. And so if you read the plaque, he basically would heal anybody in the 1800s with this Jesus. This little mummified Jesus that he has basically in this piece of luggage. So, and then the plaque tells all about the Baron Klaus von Heidelberg and how he did that. So he was a very famous healer in the late 1800s. So that there's that aspect of the religious aspect, and then I think it deals more with spirituality than it does religion.
And I love just how everything's distressed and looks like it's actually, halfway authentic and everything. You definitely took a lot of time in planning everything out and making it look as authentic as possible. So that's very, very cool. I know you have a couple more weeks left on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It is going through September 14th.
Yep.
So, and there again, reception and lecture at September 7th at 6 p.m. up here in the gallery. What, you said that this is the first of 3?
No, albums. I have a trilogy of CDs that I put out, and they actually reflect the characters in the exhibition. So there's like a military man, a medical man, and a religious man. So it deals with those people, and there's 2 of those are finished, and that when you hear the audio tour, the music on the audio tour is from those albums. But the exhibition is ideally moving to Chicago. Is moving to Chicago. Exactly right. Is moving to Chicago, and hopefully it'll just keep going from there. I can keep adding to this.
Cool. And any kind of timeline as far as when the 3rd album comes out?
Probably, I would say next year, depending. You can go to my website, which is mattschultz.com, and you can also go to the division.info or the division.org. I have both of those. So those relate directly to the Division project, and then mattschultz.com is just my body of work, if anybody wants to see that.
Are either of those geared to like completely and totally self-deception, or are they just putting it out there as fact, or are they letting everybody in that it is?
The division.org puts it out as if it's the actual Division website for the order, and the division.info is like a dark goth site dealing with the black magic of the Division. So they're like totally opposite websites. So one is this very like clean business site, and the other one's very weird and creepy.
Do you have any kind of recruitment application or anything?
I very frequently get people emailing me they want to become members of the Division. And then not even in the sense that they've seen the exhibition or the gallery and get the pun to it. I've actually had complete strangers emailing me through the website.
So there are actually people out there who have no clue that this is fake,
yes.
No clue about this gallery or anything, and they want to join your little club.
Right.
How does that make you feel? I mean, is that the ultimate payoff that you've been that convincing to people?
Well, you know what, I don't want to maliciously, trick anybody. So what I do is I write them back and I tell them that it's farcical. And I had one individual actually say, like, he didn't believe that. Like, he so wanted to believe that the enterprise was real that he thought I was kind of trying to misdirect him. And so he's our sergeant in arms now.
So he could not be deterred.
Could not be.
You just went ahead and can't lose and join him. Huh?
Yeah.
That's very cool. What you said possibly try to get it into some bigger markets, Chicago, whatever.
Yeah.
Is that going to involve a lot more? I mean, I don't know what some of the space.
Depends on the venue size, and again, the Chicago venue that's looking at it wants to pick it up is considerably larger, so I'll probably have the entire exhibition there and then add more to it, because again, this is an endless body of work. I mean, I won't stop making stuff for the division. It's just, ideally the thing would be is in 10 years that I could fill an entire museum with the entire, with every all.
Springfield would have the division museum.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
What is I keep on asking these questions. I probably shouldn't be asking, but being an artist and getting like a gallery show like this, and even getting big gallery show up in Chicago considered, are you paying any bills with that? Is that profitable in any way, shape, or form?
No, it's not. The idea is when I take it to a university, different universities outside of this one, in the sense is that they pay for you to bring it there, and then you offer a lecture series and all this, and that's usually how this is actually created and for generating any type of revenue, right? But I don't sell any of the art that I make here. I mean, none of this stuff is for sale. So.
And once we get to get up to maybe the Chicago thing, I mean, I'm obviously thinking, I think there's a book in this as well. You could do a book of the history of the division.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and also like a movie, basically a documentary.
Very cool.
I've been talking about doing a documentary.
Just a straight documentary of how and why, or continuing the
no, the History Channel is doing an actual documentary on the history of the division. It would be presented completely real to them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and give us a little bit of a I can give us a little bit of recap. The gallery the exhibit is going to be here at the gallery August 20th, obviously, to September 14th, with the reception and lecture September 7th at 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And is that going to be more of a hoity-toity?
No, everybody, please. Everybody should come. It should be a good time. Come see the exhibition, eat some hors d'oeuvres, and then we'll go over and have a talk in one of the lecture halls, and hopefully it'll be a lighthearted talk and not so academic.
Get inducted into the division. So.
Exactly.
And then go ahead and recap some of the different ways to contact you and some of the different websites and all that.
Yeah, you can see my body of work at mattschultz.com or mattschultz.info. And the division, you can go to thedivision.org or thedivision.info and check out the entire enterprise there.
And any kind of Facebooks, division?
You can go to Facebook. Yep, there's an organization, the division there, which is a lot of times that's both. I'll give up the truth on that one. And so you can join up there. Please, go there. And Matt Schultz, I'm on Facebook as well. So
you need to have a Twitter so you actually start tweeting anti-news or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, very, very cool. Again, my name's Cameron Counts of Access 4 Producers Group, and it's been a pleasure talking to Matthew Schultz.
Well, thank you, Cameron. I appreciate it.
Have a great night.
Trying to act casual. Accident. Confusion of any kind in my head, looking for a danger sign. There was a formula. That's gonna hold us. It's like the taste of medicine, working for hindsight. Got the message from the oxygen, making all the list. Find the cost of opportunity. Well, doing it right. That's a useless in emergency. Facts are living turned inside out. Facts are dog with the best of things. Facts are love and flows. Facts are living furniture. Facts are out and slam the door. Facts are never all your face. Facts continue to shake your shit.
You know.